Rings is the third movie in the Rings series and begins in 2013 on an airplane bound for Seattle. And now the opening sequence for horror movie franchises offers an amazing opportunity for the filmmakers to unleash their creativity. Now, Scream is the king when it comes to this. Final Destination does a great job, and Saw is a solid contender. And the opening for the original The Ring was great. The opening to the second one sucked without any context. And the opening for Rings is actually pretty badass. We meet Carter, who reveals to the woman next to him that he watched the Ring tape a week ago and he only has 5 minutes until the 7 days are up. Another woman reveals that she's seen the tape too and asks Carter if he made a copy, and he replies that he didn't. And the Ring video starts to play on all the monitors, and we learn just how powerful Samara is when she's able to take down an entire plane just to get to one person. 2 years later, in 2015, a college professor named Gabriel Brown, played by Johnny Galecki, who is what are we saying here, the third best Rusty Griswold? And after Carter died, his family put his stuff up for sale, and Gabriel buys Carter's old VCR. And now I've watched a lot of flea market flip. Put some legs and some casters on there, you got yourself a pretty sweet bar cart. He takes the VCR home and finds the Samara tape inside and watches it, and immediately gets a call from Samara.
7 days.
But for reasons unknown, he begins hallucinating right away. We then meet Julia and Holt on the day that Holt is leaving for college, and these two are just weird together.
I'm gonna miss your smell.
Where the hell's your shirt?
Tonight!
And every night!
And every single night!
Unless I'm with Tommy Lombardi!
You did not just say that!
Holt, get your ass back in the car. Do not embarrass me. I'm sorry, sir. Please don't give up on me, sir. Man, Holt and his dad have a whole separate set of issues going on, don't they? But a few weeks later, Holt cuts off all contact with Julia, and she gets a Skype call from a friend of Holt's named Sky, who is frantically looking for him.
Where's Holt?
I don't know, I haven't spoken to him in
Don't lie to
days.
me!
And now this movie has a lot of unnecessary jump scares, but thankfully they aren't as loud as some other movies. I'm looking at you, Blair Witch.
Put some ointment on it. I'll go get Jane.
When Julia goes looking for Holt, she meets Professor Gabriel, who says he doesn't know Holt. She follows Gabriel and finds a group of people known as the Sevens, who meet in a kind of weird matrixy techno VHS sex club. And now if you watched my The Ring 2 video, you'll immediately realize what's going on here, and Gabriel has set up a Ring watching chain where you watch the tape and document what happens and then pass it on to someone else. Now I'm not gonna lie, I think this is an interesting premise, and even the short film Rings was intriguing, and I wish the whole movie was just about this club and all the stories that could come out of it, but it's not. Julia overhears Sky freaking out on Gabriel because she doesn't have anyone to watch her copy of the tape.
Get to your studio, don't talk to anyone along the way. Make a copy of the video and wait. I'm gonna send someone right now.
She hasn't even made a copy yet? That should be the first thing that you do. Well, actually second after shitting your pants when the phone rings. Sky says she'll help Julia, but she has to show her something in her apartment real quick. And immediately upon getting to the apartment, Sky locks the door from the inside with a separate key, not unlike a serial killer. And then she makes a copy of the video and tells Julia that she has to watch it.
I want you to watch something and then you'll understand.
Now at this point, I'm not instantly thinking murder tape, but I would be on guard for some informational video about investing in a pyramid scheme, like selling garden hoses door to door or some shit. Now this movie takes place in 2015, so obviously the whole VHS thing wouldn't work anymore. So instead, the video has been transferred to the extremely timeless and futuristic media format known as a QuickTime file. QuickTime will forever be relevant. Sky should just upload her copy to LimeWire with the title Mad Max Fury Road 2015 Cam Rip. It would be downloaded within seconds.
I need you to do this for me. It's just a 2-minute video. It won't hurt you.
Okay, weird frantic girl who's just bleeding all over the place. Let's go. And just then the TV turns on, with a shot of Samara crawling out of the well, and Sky rips the TV off the wall. Then problem solved. Now she can't get through.
Toby, help me with this television. It's too heavy.
Don't worry, Sammy. Old Toby's on the case. Oh, shit. This thing is heavy. Hold on, let me just get my leg up here. Oh, shoot. I spilled my Sanka.
I'll get you another one.
Okay, but it won't be cold. Frick.
Lift with your legs, Toby.
I know how to lift up a TV, Samara. I pick people up and just chuck them across entire rooms, okay? Alright, here we go. The old Toby power lift. Okay, I know you like to do your creepy crawly thing, but actually I'm gonna need you to hurry, because your old buddy Toby can't hold this thing for much longer. It's slipping. Yeah, it's slippery because of the Sanka. So Samara kills Sky, and when Julia runs out of the apartment, she finds Holt. And Holt reveals that he's watched the tape as well, and he has 12 hours left to live.
Gabriel sent me. I was supposed to watch a video.
So, I mean, the Sevens Club, it looked like they had timers for everybody and they had everything well tracked. Everyone should have a tail. How did it get to the point where Gabriel's just now sending some random dude at the very last minute? Like, there were dozens of people that we know of in the Sevens Club. There's probably a shit ton more. Like, can you not transfer the curse to someone who's seen it before and just keep passing it back and forth like that? Like, the Sevens should have fail-safe people. Like a couple of undergrads who will watch your copy of the tape in case your backup doesn't come through. And also, do you know how easy it is to get someone to watch a video? You literally just pull it up on your phone and go up to someone and say, oh my god, you gotta watch this. It's insane. That's it. And now 2 minutes is about the maximum amount of time that people have the attention span for these days, but it is still entirely doable. So several hours later when Holt is freaking asleep, instead of finding someone to watch a 2-minute long video, like that would be my one and only goal. Like Holt can sleep when he's dead, which he will be in a few hours. But then Julia goes on Holt's computer and watches his copy. And now here's why making a digital copy of the movie could lead to some confusion if there isn't a good system for naming. Like eventually you could end up with a file named this. Oh Heather, she ran into a lot of trouble. And as soon as she's done watching it, the phone rings and she sees a vision of a door and Samara burns her hand. They race to Gabriel's house to make a copy, but Julia's version of the video cannot be copied at all. And it contains additional images of a mysterious pregnant woman.
You know, primitive cultures believe that the only way to free a soul is to burn the body.
How the hell are you gonna burn Samara's body? That bitch is soaking wet. Gabriel photocopies the mark on Julia's hand and sends him to Sacrament Valley, where Samara was ultimately buried.
The images on the tape, they were her story. She wanted it to be heard.
She was adopted, and they realized that something was unnatural about this girl. Samara survived for 7 days at the bottom of the well.
I'm glad Julia's doing a little investigative work, but we, the audience, already know way more than she does. They find Samara's tomb, but when they open it, it's empty, and they get caught desecrating the tomb and are taken to see local blind man Galen Burke. And oh no, Vincent D'Onofrio. No. Burke claims Samara's body was entombed by a local priest, but a flood came, leading the priest to rebury her in a field outside of town, and he says that he went blind from the visions that Samara was sending him. And I also think it's funny that the story of the ring went from a creepy urban legend to just something that is known by like thousands of people. On their way back to town, they find that Gabriel has been in an accident, and he tries to tell her something, but he gets Final Destination before he can. And Julia has a vision of Samara's mother Evelyn, and it leads her to the church, where she finds a hidden chamber beneath the bell tower. And she finds evidence that Evelyn was imprisoned there by the priest of the town while she was pregnant.
You're Samara's mother.
I like how they're treating this as a big reveal. We all knew that from the last movie. Like, this whole series is just a Nancy Drew mystery. Like, the first one was intriguing, but now we're just trying to tack on more and more backstory that the audience doesn't care about. Like, you cannot revolve the franchise around the lore of a 9-year-old. And it's like on Lost, how every character's first flashback had some huge revelation, but then by their 8th flashback, it was just like, oh, this one day Jack was buying groceries and he thought he saw his dad. Julia goes to talk to Burke about the priest, and at the same time across town, Holt learns that Burke is the priest.
This curse, it will never stop until she's free.
No, that's like word for word what Rachel was trying to do in the last 2 movies. And then, because each frame of this movie was directed by a different person who was not in contact with any of the other directors, Holt has to run back to the inn to find the picture of Evelyn to confirm that Burke was the priest, even though he was just fucking told this information.
Burke.
What is this movie?
You're Samara's father. You kidnapped Evelyn.
Again, the audience already picked up on that. You don't need to tell us. We learn that Burke blinded himself so that he wouldn't be able to see the video, and then Julia pushes him down the stairs and thinks that he's dead. And Holt rushes to Galen's house when Galen knocks him unconscious, and Julia discovers Samara's skeleton behind a wall, and Galen then tries to strangle her to death, but Julia is able to call on the power of Samara like she's Captain Planet or something.
Through this holy anointing!
And Samara shows up, cures Galen's blindness, and then kills him, which was also the subject of Mr. Beast's most controversial video to date. And they cremate Samara's remains, and the day is saved. And so the next day, when Julia's in the shower, Holt notices a voicemail from Gabriel, who warns him that the mark on Julia's hand is Braille, and Holt begins to translate it. And in the bathroom, Julia hacks up a Samara hairball, while her computer begins sending copies of the cursed video to everyone in her contact list. And now this series is pretty stupid, but this part is the dumbest of all. Because within seconds of sending out this email that has an attachment that says this, everyone in her contact list has watched it and is raving about it and saying that they will pass it on. This would only work if everyone on her contact list was an 80-year-old woman named June, and the subject line would need to be this. And we then learned that the Braille translation on her hand meant rebirth, and Samara is reborn in Julia. And what happened to the Sevens Club? Like, it was barely mentioned. The whole thing should have been revolved around that. Or, like, let's say there's like a terrorist organization that's having people watch the tape and then book flights for exactly 7 days in order to bring down airplanes. Like, the FBI has to get involved and try to track down the source of the tapes. And the very last shot, we pan out with Robert Pattinson in a building, and we learn that it's September 11th, 2001, and he's watching the tape in the World Trade Center. My producers... What? Wait, you mean that's been done before? I was just trying out some dark humor. Are you serious? Holy shit.